How's it going, everybody? In this video, we're going to be talking about the Gadsden flag, also known as the Don't Tread on Me flag, and we are going to be discussing what exactly does this flag mean and a little bit of the history behind the creation of this iconic symbol. So what is the Gadsden flag? The Gadsden flag is named after its creator, Christopher Gatson. Christopher Gatson created this flag in 1775, and it is linked heavily to the American Revolutionary War. This iconic flag was used by the Continental Marines during the American Revolution, and it served as an early motto flag for the Continental Marines, and this flag was flown in connection to a lot of the ships that were used during the American Revolution, and was flown actually along with other flags like the Moultrie flag. Who exactly is Christopher Gatson, this iconic man or this iconic patriot who created this iconic flag in the Gadsden flag? So Christopher Gatson was born in 1725 in Charleston, South Carolina. Christopher Gatson became the primary patriot leader in connection with South Carolina during the American Revolutionary War. This iconic man was a politician, he was a general during the Revolutionary War, and was a very successful merchant. Christopher Gatson was also a delegate during the Continental Congress. Christopher Gatson also served as a brigadier general in the Continental Army. Christopher Gatson was also one of the founders of the Sons of Liberty in South Carolina, and this was a secret society established by John Adams, and it primarily focused on establishing the rights and specifically combating most of the taxation laws that were being handed down by England during this period. And if I haven't established yet that this man is a patriot, he actually served 42 weeks in solitary confinement expressly because of his involvement in the colonies' revolution against England. So that covers who Christopher Gatson was and who the creator of this iconic symbol was. So when exactly did this Gadsden flag, or the Don't Tread on Me flag and symbol, first appear? In the fall of 1775, George Washington established the Continental Navy. The Continental Navy actually started just first as 7 ships, and these 7 ships were named the Washington Cruisers after George Washington, the commander-in-chief. And these first 7 ships had some flags attached to them. It had some symbols and some mottos attached to them, and that was the Liberty Tree. This flag depicted a pine tree and with the motto, "Appeal to Heaven" on it. These first ships were used by the Continental Navy to intercept British ships that were coming into the colonies. What the Continental Navy ships would do is they would stop the British ships and actually steal their goods and use them for the war efforts. And to aid in these efforts, the Second Continental Congress actually mustered 5 marine companies to help these ships intercept British ships and take their goods. And it is at this moment that we see the Don't Tread on Me symbol first appear. The drums of these Marines was actually painted yellow and had depicted on it a coiled snake. After attending a meeting of the Continental Congress, Gadsden actually expressly handed over a flag to Commodore Essex Hopkins, who was in charge and actually put in charge by Gadsden of some ships that were being used for the Continental Navy. Before their departure and before their first mission, Gadsden actually handed over this flag to Essex. And Gadsden actually handed over this flag to Essex to serve as the express personal standard of the flags for these flagships. Gadsden also later actually gave an example of the Don't Tread on Me flag to the South Carolina Congress. And this is actually expressly recorded in the South Carolina Congressional Journals of February 9th, 1776. And I quote, "Colonel Gadsden presented to Congress an elegant standard, such as is to be used by the Commander-in-Chief of the American Navy, being a yellow field with a lively representation of a rattlesnake in the middle in the attitude of going to strike, and these words underneath, 'Don't tread on me.'" So it's clear in American history and in the history of the American Revolution that the Gadsden flag, or the Don't Tread on Me flag, was used heavily for war efforts. So a lot of people actually ask, why a rattlesnake? Why is the symbol of a rattlesnake so significant? During this time, the rattlesnake, like the bald eagle, started to serve as an express symbol of the American colonies and of America during the time. In 1751, in reaction to some things that the British were actually doing, what the British would do is, at the time they were sending a lot of criminals over to the colonies instead of actually imprisoning them in Britain. And what Benjamin Franklin actually suggested is that if Britain was going to send all their convicted criminals over to the colonies, maybe what America and the colonies should do to thank them is send them a bunch of rattlesnakes. And so that is really one of the first times where we see this kind of rattlesnake symbology used The next time that we kind of see these rattlesnake used as a symbol for the colonies is in 1751 during the French and Indian Wars. And this creates another iconic symbol and flag that we see a lot even in our modern day, and that is the join and die or the woodcut's rattlesnake symbol. So as you can see, the symbology of a rattlesnake was heavy even before the Don't Tread on Me or Gadsden flag appeared. So a lot of people wonder, what exactly does the Gadsden flag mean? What does it represent? And I think for the historical representation, we have to go no further than what a lot of people assume was Benjamin Franklin's quote on what exactly the Gadsden flag or the Don't Tread on Me symbol actually meant. So there is a historical quote from an individual named the American Guesser, and what a lot of people agree on is that it was actually Benjamin Franklin. This quote summarizes what this individual believed the Gadsden flag or the coiled rattlesnake with the motto, "Don't tread on me," what exactly did that mean? And so I'll read you some of that quote by this individual. And this individual states, and I quote, "I observed on one of the drums belonging to the Marines, now raising, there was painted a rattlesnake, with this modest motto under it, 'Don't tread on me.' As I know is the custom to have some device on the arms of every country, I suppose this may have been intended for the arms of America. For the first time it occurred to this individual, the rattlesnake is found in no other quarter of the world besides America. The rattlesnake also has sharp eyes and may therefore be esteemed an emblem of vigilance. Therefore, she never begins an attack, nor, once engaged, ever surrenders. She is therefore an emblem of magnanimity and true courage. She never wounds till she has generously given notice, even if her enemy, and cautioned him against the danger of treading on her. I confess I was wholly at a loss what to make of the rattles, till I went back and counted them, and found them just 13, exactly the number of colonies united in America. And I recollected too that this was the only part of the snake which increased in numbers. 'Tis curious and amazing to observe how distinct and independent of each other the rattles of this animal are, and yet how firmly they are united together, so as never to be separated but by breaking them to pieces. One of those rattles singly is incapable of producing sound, but the ringing of 13 together is sufficient to alarm the boldest man alive." So this comes directly from one of our founding fathers, and he's explaining how unique and symbolic this flag and the symbol of the rattlesnake really is to what is currently going on in America, and the unique personality of what is America, what was America then, and what is America now. So let's look at some modern uses of the Gadsden flag or the Don't Tread on Me symbol. At least politically, we saw in the 1970s the Gadsden flag or the Don't Tread on Me symbol come into more prominence with things like the resurgence of libertarianism. And also in 2010, we saw the Gadsden flag and the Don't Tread on Me symbol start to play a political role with parties like the Tea Party and with the new Libertarian Party. But the modern use of the flag is not just tied to political motives. As many of you are aware, what we see now a lot of the times is not only is the Gadsden flag or the Don't Tread on Me with the coiled snake used actually as a flag, you see people fly it outside their houses, you see a flag on their cars or on their shirts, but also just the symbol or the words "Don't tread on me," the motto "Don't tread on me," or just the coiled snake are used heavily in our modern day society. And I think a lot of people use this symbol right now in our modern society, not just for its historical context, but also to outwardly manifest what they believe America is supposed to be and how America should be. And I think right now in our modern society, it's really sad how we see the media or how we see some political parties try to pervert actually what the Gadsden flag means or what the representation of the Don't Tread on Me motto is supposed to be. Right now in our modern society, we see a lot of people on specific political sides, like liberals, try to say that the Gadsden flag or the Don't Tread on Me motto actually stands for racism, bigotry, things of that nature. And it's funny because we saw a recent manifestation of how individuals are trying to pervert what the Gadsden flag actually means when we saw a famous individual like Chris Pratt, who was touted to be a racist and a bigot for wearing a shirt that had just the Gadsden flag and the Don't Tread on Me motto on it. And the mainstream media went after him, calling him a racist and bigot just for wearing a symbol which was present at the creation of our great nation. And it's crazy how one side can believe that this is a racist symbol and how another side can see at its core that this symbol stands for what our nation is supposed to be. So I hope you guys found this information helpful. I hope it gave you some more clarity on what exactly is the Gadsden flag, some of the history behind it, and some of the meaning behind what exactly the Gadsden flag is, what exactly is the rattlesnake, and the Don't Tread on Me motto. If you found this video helpful and you find my videos helpful in general and you would like to support the channel in some way, the best way to do that is to join the Patreon, and I'll put a link down in the description to my Patreon page. Another way you can support the channel is to use the various affiliate links down in the details. So as always, thanks you guys for watching. Don't forget to like and subscribe. And never forget, a nation that draws a great distinction between its scholars and its warriors will have its laws written by cowards and its wars fought by fools.